The 2021 NFL Draft has concluded, and now it is time to project what players will do in their rookie seasons. We did these videos last year for picks 1 through 10, then 11 through 20, and then 21 through 32. So again, we are going to do picks 1 through 10 today, and then followed by 11 through 20 and 21 through 32. They were very successful videos, and I had a lot of fun making them. And we're going to start today going picks 10 through 1 in reverse order. So that means we are going to start with the Philadelphia Eagles selection of DeVante Smith. Now, I hope you guys know by now I am not a clickbait, and I'm not going to say, man, Trevor might throw for 49 touchdowns and he's going to challenge Mahomes this year with a touchdown record. That's not me, and it's never been me. So we're going to dive into realistic expectations for each and every rookie. But before we get started, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as each only take a second to do, and it would be very much appreciated. Now let's begin. We begin today's video with the number 10 overall pick, and that is DeVante Smith, the receiver from Alabama. When you look at the Eagles roster and what DeVante Smith could do statistically, it favors him pretty well. They will have Travis Fulgham for him to compete with targets with, as Zach Ertz could very well be traded, and Dallas Goedert is a solid tight end. But other than that, I mean, you're looking at this roster and you have Greg Ward, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and 2020 first-round pick Jalen Reagor. The possibility that DeVante Smith goes over 1,000 yards in year one is very high, as he will be receiving passes from his former teammate in Jalen Hurts, and he has the most chemistry with him out of any other rookie receiver, and that's really all there is to it. DeVante is going to be productive at the NFL level, and what I do want to say is the size does not scare me at all in terms of his production. One of the best press corners in the draft, J.C. Horn, consistently said that you can't press him because he's so fast that you can't get your hands on him in time, so that does not scare me in terms of his NFL career. DeVante could and probably will go over 1,000 yards in year one, and I do think he will prove to be the most productive receiver in the first round of the 2021 draft class. Now, we're going to lump picks 9 and 8 together, which are Patrick Surtain, the corner, going to the Broncos, and J.C. Horn, the corner, going to the Panthers. The reason for lumping these guys together is you don't see corners, especially rookie corners, come in and have, and we'll just throw absurd numbers out here, 75 tackles, 3 forced fumbles, and 4 interceptions. That would be borderline defensive player of the year numbers, and you don't see that. So what I'm looking for from each of these guys is to generally improve over the 2021 season. What is going to benefit them versus the 2020 draft class is, I mean, barring some setback that we don't know about, they're going to have a preseason because we are on the back end of COVID, thankfully. So I'm looking for them to get burned a little bit in the preseason, as it generally happens to all rookie corners. And over the course of the year, they're each going to be tested. Look at JC in his division. He's going to be facing DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson every day at practice. Then 2 times a year, he's going to get a combination of Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And then the other 4 times, which I meant to lump together, but 6 times a year, he's going to be getting Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Julio Jones, and Michael Thomas. And of course, we can't forget Calvin Ridley. For Patrick Surtain, it is much of the same, going up against Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton in practice, and then going up against Keenan Allen and Tyreek Hill in games. So these guys are going to be tested early and often, and that's going to benefit them because you might as well get used to the NFL level now versus in a division that does not have those quality of receivers, as you're going to have to go up at the best against at some point. So again, we are looking for those guys to generally improve over the course of their rookie season. Now, the 7th pick in the draft was Penei Sewell to the Lions, the big offensive tackle from Oregon, and this in a way is going to be similar to both Surtain and J.C. Horn. You can't really track Penei statistically, but we saw the direction that the Lions are going to go under in Dan Campbell. Of course, we know Dan Campbell, the big macho man we saw in his opening press conference. He was talking about biting kneecaps and everything else of that nature. So we saw the direction that the Lions are heading under, and by the way, the Lions fans, you guys had a terrific draft. But for Penei, the thing is we want to see the Lions effectively run the ball more. They invested a second-round pick last year in DeAndre Swift, and we want to be able to see him go over 1,000 yards for the first time of what will hopefully be many in his NFL career. So for Penei, it is improving the run game and keeping Jared Goff up and healthy. Now, we get into the fun part of the video here as we go all position players for the rest of the way, as 7 through 9 with the offensive tackle and 2 corners, they are generally, you're just projecting how they'll do as a position rather than individual statistics. So now we are at pick 6 with Jalen Waddle to the Dolphins, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't think Jalen's going to do too well statistically in his rookie season, and here's why. There are plenty of options on that offense for Tua, from Devontae Parker to Mike Gesicki to the free agent acquisition in Will Fuller. So Jalen will probably be at first the 4th target for Tua. I mean, granted, they do have connection from their time at Alabama, but I don't think Jalen's going to come in 75 catch, 1,000-yard, 10-touchdown rookie season. I don't see any way that happens, but that is not to say Jalen will be a complete bust and he'll never be be able to produce, because that simply isn't the case either. So I don't think Jalen will be all that productive in his rookie season, and I think he will have a rookie season statistically similar to what Henry Ruggs had for the Raiders in 2020. Henry finished with about 500 yards and a couple of touchdowns, and given that Jalen is in an offense with a lot of options the same way Ruggs is, with players like Darren Waller and of course Josh Jacobs, it's going to be a tough year statistically for Jalen Waddle. And again, this is not to say he's a bust, because he compared to Tyreek Hill, and we see what Tyreek does year in and year out. So I just don't think Jalen will be statistically that good in his rookie year, but again, the future is very bright for him, and him and Tua will only develop chemistry as they had previously had at Alabama, and they will get better as time goes on. Now, next is the number 5 overall pick, and that is Ja'Marr Chase, who is going to the Bengals after a career year that he had in 2019, in which him and Joe Burrow set multiple records during their championship run. Now, I'm not going to have a knee-jerk reaction here and say Jamar's going for 110, 1,612 stat line, because I certainly don't think that's going to be the case. There's going to be a lot of challenges. I mean, in his division, he's going to face Denzel Ward and Marlon Humphrey alone, and this is not even mentioning that Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, and Joe Mixon are all on the same team with him. So simply put, there are going to be a lot of mouths to feed in this offense, and simply put, Ja'Marr Chase and Joe Burrow and the gang are not going to dominate the NFL the way they did their final year at LSU. Now, this is not to say Ja'Marr Chase will have a 25-catch, 400-yard rookie year, because I certainly don't think that is the case either. Now, if we're going to ask the question, does he break his former teammate Justin Jefferson's receiving yards record? I don't think he does, because 1,400 yards is a lot of yards even with the 17th game, but I do think Ja'Marr will be around the 1,000-yard mark. Now, next is the offensive weapon Kyle Pitts from Florida, and this is going to be tough to project because he is in an offense with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Calvin Ridley. I do expect them to pass the ball a lot, and I certainly do expect Matt Ryan to put up numbers this year, because they're going to have to put up 40 points for a chance to win any game. I mean, we saw it last year. We saw them blow leads because their defense is atrocious, right? So projecting Kyle Pitts' stats for his rookie season is going to be tough, but given that he is more of a tight end than a true wide receiver, and not to say he's, a tight end and he's like Kyle Rudolph and can't move, because that certainly is not the case, but I don't think he's going to come in again like Justin Jefferson, and I hate to use him as an example because he is an outlier more than the standard, but I don't think he's going to have 1,000 yards in his rookie year, because again, he's going to be in an offense with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley. So he will be a wide receiver 3 in his rookie year, or tight end 1, which third option, whichever you would want to prefer. But what I'm going to say about Kyle Pitts and the stats is I would project him to be around the 55 catch to 700 yard mark. He will be a true mismatch in the red zone, and it is going to be tough to cover the Atlanta Falcons inside the 20-yard line because of having to cover both Julio and Kyle Pitts, and because of that, Kyle Pitts or Julio, one or the other, could have 12 plus touchdowns, and the other could be 3 or less, depending on who the defense chooses to cover more in that said week. Now, next is the 3rd overall pick, which is Trey Lance, and out of the first 3 quarterbacks that were selected, this is the one that I'm going to struggle the most with. I don't think Trey's going to play all 17 games, honestly. I don't think obviously they didn't select Trey 3rd overall for Jimmy to be the answer, but in the same sense, I don't think Trey is going to be ready immediately. I don't think he's going to be the week 1 starter, and because of that, it's going to be tough to project, but if we'll just say full 17-game season, I do think he would be around probably 25 to 26 total touchdowns, but the thing for him, and the good thing for him, is he's walking into a situation where they don't have to put up 35 a game to win. This is going to be a defense that is going to be back, and obviously we hope, and we want everyone to be healthy this year, like Nick Bosa coming off a torn ACL, and this is going to be a defense that's going to help Trey out a lot, and Trey is going to fit this offense like a glove. So statistically, his rookie year probably will not be the best, but what will look good for Trey compared to the other rookie quarterbacks is the one that matters most, and that is the win column. Now, unlike Trey Lance, I do think Zach Wilson will lack in the win column. Again, that's not his fault, but Zach is going to be in a tough situation for a rookie because he's going to a team that is awful, and you could very easily say the same thing about Trevor, but the Jags do have a lot of offensive help around Trevor. So Zach is going to a situation with Corey Davis and the 2nd-round pick Elijah Moore as his weapons. Now, he does have a good left side of the line of Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera Tucker, but speaking from a statistical standpoint, I do expect him to be in the 20 to 23 passing passing touchdown range, and he will not rush for 10 touchdowns his rookie year. That's definitely an outlier for his junior year of college versus his other years of college, and that's not going to happen. So sorry to burst anyone's bubble, but I would expect him to be around the 3,500 yard, 22 passing touchdown area. Now we get to the part where I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for, and it is, of course, Trevor Lawrence. So first things first, I'm going to clear the air. I do not think he will have even as good of a year as Justin Herbert had last year, as that should be the exception and not the standard for top-rated quarterbacks, and for whoever the next Trevor Lawrence is, whether that's in 2028 or 2035 or whenever the next great prospect like Trevor comes along, that should not be the expectation. So Trevor, statistically, he's going to probably do pretty good for rookie standards, as he should, and he is going into a situation that is better than most rookies have. He's going to be throwing the ball to players like DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, and Marvin Jones, and gets to hand the ball off to Travis Etienne and James Robinson. There are playmakers all around, so speaking from a statistical standpoint, I do think Trevor will throw around 25 to 27 touchdowns and probably rush for another 4 or 5. We've seen his legs, like with that big play against Ohio State. So Trevor will probably be in the 30 to 32 total touchdown range in his rookie year, and hopefully for the Jags' sake, the 7 to 9 win range. Now, with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It would mean the world and helps a lot in terms of the YouTube algorithm, so I appreciate the support. Until next time, have a great day. Love you guys. Deuces. Peace.